I can't cut your hair anymore." That's when my life changed. Marcus stood behind me, scissors in hand, and I watched my face go pale in the barbershop mirror. 3 years of monthly visits. 3 years of the same chair, the same small talk, the same haircut, and now this. "What do you mean?" I whispered. He met my eyes in the reflection. "I mean, I see you, and I can't keep helping you hide. Let me tell you how I got here." Every third Saturday at 10 a.m. I'd walk into Sal's barbershop on Mitchell Street. It was ritual, it was armor, it was survival. The shop smelled like my grandfather's bathroom. Old Spice, leather, and the particular musk of men occupying space together. Sports memorabilia covered the walls. A Playboy calendar from 1987 hung ironically near the coat rack. 3 barber chairs faced 3 mirrors, and in those mirrors, men became men. I'd perfected the walk by then. Shoulders back, but not too straight. Hands in pockets, casual. I'd perfected the handshake. Firm, brief, done. I'd perfected the conversation. Weather, work, traffic, the Steelers, offensive line. I never mentioned that I worked in graphic design. I'd say advertising. Sounded more masculine somehow. Marcus always gave me the same cut. Short on the sides, barely longer on top. The professional, he called it. What I called it was camouflage. See, I was living 2 lives, and the distance between them was killing me. There was daytime me, button-downs from the men's section, voice pitched low, laugh measured and masculine. I'd learned to take up space, to sit with my legs apart, to never cross them at the knee. I'd learned to talk about women in that specific way men do when they're performing straightness for each other. Not crude, but appreciative, distant, safe. Then there was 2 a.m. me, alone in my apartment, trying on the dress I'd bought from a thrift store 3 towns over, standing in front of my own mirror, finally seeing something that felt like truth, then hiding it all before sunrise like evidence of a crime. The weight of it, of him, this character I'd created, sat on my chest every morning when I woke up. I carried him around like a corpse, and he was getting heavier. But the barbershop was where I maintained the lie. Every 3 weeks, I'd sit in Marcus's chair and let him trim away anything soft, anything feminine, anything real. The ritual was methodical. The ritual was necessary. The ritual was destroying me. That particular Saturday in October, I walked to Sal's under a gray sky that matched my mood. I'd been up until 4 a.m. the night before, crying in front of my mirror for reasons I couldn't fully name, or wouldn't name. The weight had become unbearable. I didn't know that Marcus had been watching me for months, that he'd seen something in my eyes each visit, a dimming, a disappearing. I didn't know that this ordinary day would crack my life wide open. I pushed through the door. The bell chimed. Marcus looked up from sweeping hair and smiled. "Right on time," he said. I tried to smile back. I don't think it reached my eyes. I barely slept the night before. At 2 a.m. I stood in my living room, wearing a sundress I'd bought 6 months earlier, yellow cotton with small white flowers. I'd never worn it outside, never even worn it with the lights fully on. But that night I turned on every lamp. I looked at myself in the full-length mirror I kept hidden behind my bedroom door. And I saw her. Not him, not the person I pretended to be at work, at the gym, at the barbershop. Her. Me. The person I'd been suffocating for 28 years. I started crying. Then I couldn't stop. I cried because she was beautiful. I cried because I was terrified. I cried because I didn't know how to let her exist in daylight. I cried because the thought of putting on my men's clothes in the morning made me want to die. That's not dramatic. That's just true. I'd been thinking about dying a lot lately, not in a plan-it-out way, more like a background hum, a quiet voice that said, "This is too hard. You could just stop." By 4 a.m. I'd hidden the dress again. Put on boxers and a t-shirt, washed my face, looked at my short hair in the bathroom mirror and felt nothing. That morning, I almost canceled my haircut. I stood in my kitchen with my phone in my hand, Marcus's number pulled up. My finger hovered over the call button. I could say I was sick. Reschedule. Maybe never go back. But that felt like giving up the last piece of normal I had left, so I went. The walk to Sal's usually took 15 minutes. That day it felt like walking to an execution. The October air was cold. Leaves covered the sidewalk in orange and brown. I kept my hands in my jacket pockets, kept my head down. I passed a woman walking her dog, and she smiled at me. I nodded back the way men do. Quick, minimal, no teeth. Inside, I was screaming. When I pushed open the door to Sal's, the bell chimed like it always did. The shop was busier than usual. All 3 chairs full. 2 guys waiting on the bench near the door. "Be about 20 minutes, called Sal from the first chair. "That's fine," I said. My voice came out flat. I sat on the bench, picked up a Sports Illustrated from 2019, didn't read a single word. Marcus was cutting hair 2 chairs down. I watched him work in the mirror. He moved with the same steady confidence he always had. Scissors, comb, clipper, brush. Like a dance he'd done 10,000 times. Then he glanced up and caught my eye in the mirror. He paused, just for a second, then went back to cutting. But something in his face changed. When my turn came, I sat in his chair like I had 100 times before. The leather was cracked in the same spots, the armrests were worn smooth, everything familiar, everything safe. "The usual?" Marcus asked. "Yeah," I said. He wrapped the cape around my neck, pumped the chair up higher, picked up his spray bottle and dampened my hair. Then he started cutting. We didn't talk much at first. He asked about work. I gave short answers. He mentioned the weather. I agreed it was cold, but his hands felt different that day, slower, more careful, like he was thinking about something else. I watched him in the mirror, really looked at him for the first time in years. Marcus had kind eyes, deep brown, with wrinkles at the corners from smiling. His hands were scarred, one long white line across his left palm that I'd never asked about. He wore a plain gold band on his ring finger. Married 40 years, he'd mentioned once. He caught me looking. Our eyes met in the mirror, and something passed between us. Something I can't fully explain. He stopped cutting, set down his scissors. The shop seemed to go quiet, even though the other barbers were still talking, still working. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said quietly. My throat went dry. "Okay. How long you been carrying this?" I didn't have to ask what he meant. "My whole life," I whispered. He nodded slowly, like he'd suspected. That's when he said it. "I can't cut your hair anymore." My hands gripped the armrests. "What?" I said again, louder this time. The other customers glanced over. Marcus raised his hand slightly, a signal that everything was okay. They went back to their conversations. "Come with me," he said quietly. He unwrapped the cape from my neck, led me to the back room where they kept supplies. Boxes of hair products, extra towels, a small desk with paperwork scattered across it. He closed the door. I stood there, half my hair cut, heart pounding, trying not to cry. "Did I do something wrong?" My voice shook. "No," Marcus leaned against the desk. "You didn't do anything wrong. That's not what this is." "Then why?" "Because I've been watching you die for 3 years. The words hit me like cold water. Every time you come in here," he continued, "you look a little more tired, a little more empty. And I realized I've been helping you do it, helping you cut away the parts of yourself that want to grow." Tears blurred my vision. I looked down at the floor. "I see you," Marcus said gently. "I see who you're trying to be. And I see who you actually are. And those 2 people, they're killing each other." "You don't understand," I whispered. "Maybe not. But I know what it looks like when someone's drowning. And I know what it looks like when they've stopped fighting." I wiped my eyes with the back of my hand. "So what am I supposed to do? Stop pretending." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because," my voice broke, "because if I stop, I'll lose everything. My job, my family, my friends. Everything I've built." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "What you've built," he said slowly, "is a prison. And you're both the prisoner and the guard." I looked up at him. He wasn't angry, wasn't judging, just sad. "3 months ago," he said, "you came in here with a black eye. You said you walked into a door, but I saw your knuckles. You'd punched something." I had. I'd punched my bedroom wall after another night of standing in front of the mirror hating what I saw. 2 months ago, you fell asleep in my chair. Middle of the day. When I woke you up, you looked confused, like you'd forgotten where you were. I remembered. I'd been up for 36 hours straight, terrified to sleep, terrified to dream. Last month, Marcus continued, you asked me to cut it shorter. Then shorter again, like you were trying to cut away the person underneath. I hadn't realized he'd noticed all of that. I'm not qualified to tell you who you are, he said. That's not my place. But I am qualified to know when someone needs help, and you need help. I don't know how, I whispered. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a business card, handed it to me. Dr. Sarah Chen, gender therapist. My daughter, Marcus said quietly. She went through something similar, different, but similar. This woman helped her. Maybe she can help you. I stared at the card. My hands were shaking. I can't cut your hair anymore, Marcus said again. Not because I don't care about you, but because I care too much to keep helping you hide. Something broke open inside me. I started sobbing. Real, ugly crying. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. Marcus didn't hug me, didn't touch me. Just stood there and let me fall apart. It's okay, he said softly. You're okay. But I wasn't okay. I was terrified. And somehow, that terror felt like the first honest thing I'd felt in years. I walked out of that barber shop with half a haircut and a business card clutched in my fist. The other customers stared as I left. I didn't care. Outside, the October air felt different, sharper, more real. I sat on a bench 3 blocks away and called the number on the card. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the phone. A woman answered. Calm voice. Professional. I need help, I said. She didn't ask questions, just said, Can you come in tomorrow? I went. Dr. Chen's office was small, comfortable. She had plants on every surface and art on the walls. Nothing medical, nothing cold, just colors and life. Marcus called me, she said when I sat down. Told me you might reach out. He shouldn't have. He saved your life, she interrupted gently. You know that, right? I didn't answer. Tell me what's going on, she said. So I did. I told her everything. The double life, the 2 a.m. mirror sessions, the dress hidden in my closet, the growing desire to just stop existing, the exhaustion of performing masculinity every single day. I told her I didn't know if I was trans or just confused or broken or sick. She listened to all of it. Didn't interrupt. Didn't judge. When I finished, she said something I'll never forget. You're not broken. You're just not being yourself. The months that followed weren't easy. I started therapy, once a week, then twice. I joined a support group. I told my best friend, then my sister, lost some people, kept others. I grew my hair out. That was the hardest part. Watching it get longer. Feeling it touch my ears, then my neck, then my shoulders. Every day was a choice to keep going. Every day, someone might notice, might ask questions. But something strange happened. The longer my hair got, the lighter I felt, like I was shedding weight I didn't know I was carrying. 6 months after that day in the barbershop, I wore the yellow sundress outside for the first time. Just to the grocery store. Just for 20 minutes. I was terrified the whole time, but I also felt alive. I saw Marcus one more time, about a year later. I walked past Sal's on a Saturday morning. The same bell chimed, the same smell of bay rum and Old Spice. Marcus was in his chair, cutting someone's hair. He looked up, saw me through the window. My hair was past my shoulders now. I was wearing jeans and a purple sweater, light makeup, nothing dramatic. Just me. He smiled. Not surprised, not confused. Proud. I waved. He nodded. And I kept walking. Here's what I need you to understand. I was 2 weeks away from killing myself when Marcus refused to cut my hair. I'd looked up methods. Written notes I never sent. Stood on my apartment balcony at 3 a.m. and wondered what it would feel like to jump. The only thing that stopped me was that I wanted one more haircut first. One more attempt at normal. That's how close it was. Marcus didn't know that. He just saw someone drowning and threw a rope. That's all it takes sometimes. One person. One moment. One refusal to participate in someone's self-destruction. He didn't fix me. He didn't save me by himself. But he showed me that someone saw me, really saw me. And that made all the difference. I still have bad days. Days when I look in the mirror and see a fraud. Days when I miss the simplicity of hiding. Days when I wonder if any of this was worth it. But I never have that day again. The day where I sit in a barbershop chair, cutting away pieces of myself, wishing I was dead. It's been 3 years since Marcus refused to cut my hair. I'm 31 now. I live as myself full-time. Some people from my old life stuck around. Many didn't. I made new friends. Built a new life. I changed my name. Started hormone therapy. The details don't matter as much as this. I'm here, I'm alive, I'm myself. Last month I got a message on Facebook. It was from Marcus's daughter, Sarah Drive Chen. My dad passed away yesterday, it said. Peacefully, at home, he asked me to tell you something. My hand shook as I read the rest. He said you saved his life too. After my mom died 5 years ago, he almost gave up his shop. Thought about retiring, felt like he didn't matter anymore. But helping you reminded him why he became a barber in the first place. Not to cut hair, to see people. Really see them. I cried for an hour. I never got to thank him properly. Never got to tell him that his refusal was the best gift anyone ever gave me. But maybe he knew. Here's what I want you to hear if you're struggling right now. You are seen. Even when you think you're invisible, someone notices. Someone sees the pain you're carrying, the mask you're wearing, the person you're hiding. And you matter. Not the version of you that makes other people comfortable. Not the performance. Not the costume. You. The real you. The you that comes out at 2 a.m. when no one's watching. That person deserves to exist in daylight. And if you're the person who can help someone else, please do it. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to fix them. You don't need training or expertise. You just need to see them. Really see them. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is refuse to help them hide. Marcus didn't give me permission to be myself. He just stopped giving me permission to die slowly. That was enough. I keep the business card he gave me in my wallet. It's worn now, soft at the edges. Dr. Sarah Chen, gender therapist. I don't need it anymore, but I carry it anyway, because it reminds me that small acts of courage, his courage to speak up, my courage to listen, can change everything. Marcus didn't save me. He just reminded me I was worth saving. And 3 years later, I finally believe him. The end. The Gender Diary exists to light that path with shared stories. Whether you found connection in this narrative, you're on your own journey of gender exploration, or you're here seeking understanding, your subscription fuels our mission. Every subscriber empowers us to keep illuminating these authentic experiences for our community. Kindly drop a comment below. Your voice adds to the tapestry of experiences that makes this space meaningful. Until our next story unfolds.